Hi, my name is Tim, Technical Support and Installation Engineer at ATRsoft. In today's webinar we will have a look at what's new in CustomTools 2015 SP2. With me today I have Francois Simon, who will answer your questions. Use the chat box in the GoToWebinar panel. I will make room after the session for more questions to let you follow the presentation better. We expect the webinar to take somewhere in the range of 20 minutes. The webinar will be recorded and made available online later on. Okay, let's get started. So, what did we spend all this time on? Well, we have changed a lot of issues. For instance, there is no more crashing when mirroring components in assembly, and there are no more crashing when inserting toolbox components. These two items came from a bug in the file conversion, and we managed to fix these. We also fixed how virtual components are handled, plus a lot of other items. The entire list can be found in the customer portal when you download the software. We are confident that you will see far less crashes with this version of CustomTools. So here's what we added. A new no project setting which ensure a more safe way of working. We added more ways to populate properties, and we now support adding instance and quantity information to converted files. The way we select drawing sheets has been enhanced, so it's now possible to control the output more logical. A very comprehensive getting started guide has been made, and then we made help available in Chinese also. So I'm going to get into SolidWorks Live later on, but I want to just emphasize on the items that we added. So the no project ensure that legacy files and files you import will not belong to a project by mistake. The no project group is visible only if file was saved without a defined project. With new options to write properties to document properties and active configuration, or to document properties and all configurations, we now fully cover the customer needs. This is especially true for EPDM users, where the file cards have a document property tab and configuration tabs. New output options enable users to convert DXF or DWG files from assembly as individual files. If two or more identical files exist, we just add, for instance, 2 or 4 to the file name. With changed logic in the way we select drawing sheets, it's now more predictable and easy to get the correct print or file conversion. After the installation or upgrade is complete, you have option to open the new Getting Started guide. This would typically be found in the location folder or the installation folder in C program files, ATR CustomTools, the version, lang and language. And then the help file was translated into Chinese, so now we have English, French and Chinese help files available for you. Okay, let's have a look in SolidWorks. So first off, I'm going to open up a file that was actually given to me by a different person who does not have CustomTools. So this was clearly saved without a project. So moving into the Property tab, or the properties of CustomTools, we can see that now we set the new project called No Project. And this is just to ensure that we are not doing anything bad to the file, like forcing a save location or anything. We do have an upcoming webinar about projects, so please join that and you will understand more clearly what this is about. If I open the project group, I have different projects defined. So if I select any of these, I will then set a new project. So I'm not going to do that right now. I want to take you into the options. And in here I want to show you a bit more about the projects and also about the next item that we have. So this is the general project or the project group. And we can set predefined values for this and just make sure that everything is working as expected when you configure this. So if I look at, for instance, the ATRsoft, I can see that I have a property driving as DRWNO, that's my file name, and then I have my save location, and I'm actually forcing the user to save that because I disallow saving a different folder. So by forcing this, we can control where things are being stored. Having a look at the custom properties, this is how I normally prefer to work. I like to use a property specific, by default applied to configuration. You can definitely set this as you see fit. There are some other items you can pick from, like all configurations, document properties, the two new guys, property specific, and so on. But I really just like working with the property specific and then driving this from the model attribute. So in this case, for the drawing NO, I have the initial configuration, and in this I have different combination properties or values that I can assign. So this one is going to the first new one, and I'm going to pick one of the others, so you can see this is going to document properties alone. So cancel that out, and let's pick description 1. So this one I need to put in document properties and active configuration. So just cancel and cancel. So now if I set a new project or assign a project to this file, please notice that we have this as our current file name, and if I select, for instance, the ATRsoft, I now retrieve a new file code, and I'm actually also enforcing a save location for this file, which is not where it is today. So I'm going to type in a description as well, my part, and then hit OK. So now I'm left with a decision to make. I need to save this file somehow, because I've changed the file name. So best would be, in fact, to rename and move, but you need to understand your file reference before doing that. Apart from that, you have save as, copy, ignore. I do not recommend ignore, because then this number is not going to match with that number. So yeah, you need to make a good decision here. So I will go for the save as and hit OK. And CustomTools kindly picks up that there is a drawing already existing for the original document, and we are asked, do you want to copy that drawing as well and update it with the new file information? So we can see that this is our new save location, and the current file path was in my Google Drive. So I hit OK, and the file is being copied, drawing is updated, and as we can see, the drawing is actually up to date now. So we have 43, and yeah, so open up the part, we have 43, and in the properties we can see that now this part belongs to a project called ATRsoft. And looking at the file properties, we put in the DRWNO and description 1 as a document property or a custom property, and then we put them in as configuration specific. So we have drawing number and description for this configuration, and if I go to the next configuration, yellow, I have drawing name and DRWNO, and I do not have description 1 here. So perfectly as planned. Hit cancel, and that's it. Let me just close these, and then I want to show you guys the quantity and instance number. So opening up a new assembly, there it is. So this assembly contains 5 parts. It's actually the same part throughout with different configurations. So I have the part called 25 as a default, small, and a large. So if I open one of these, you can see that we have the configurations, and this contains 5 bodies. So it's a sheet metal multi-body file, and you can see that I have in the flat pattern 5 flat pattern features. And close, and back to the assembly. So when I run the conversion of this one, I should get 25 DXF bodies, because I want to have individual bodies. I get one for the large configuration, and for this I get, like, the bottom plate, there is 2 of the same instance. In the old days, or in SP1, I would get 1 DXF file, and then maybe we add a quantity into the DXF output, but that's not really convenient, because then you need to make copies and so on. So we created this to create individual DXFs per body, and this is just much more logical. So counting the parts and multiplying them is 25. I'll show you in the options that we have the file conversion and new DXF. Name is arbitrary, of course, you can call it whatever you like. But you can see that I have the two new groups, the instance number of quantity. So just selecting those, you can find them under the arrow, and then quantity and instance number. And you can of course add model properties or whatnot from the file. So just in case you didn't know about this, there it is. Okay, cancel out of this. And then just run the conversion. Let's have a look. So batch conversion and the new DXF, and just run it. Now this is going to take a minute or maybe 2 minutes, but comparing with how you would normally do this in SolidWorks, and you can do this in SolidWorks without CustomTools, you would open the part file and then you would export to DXF each individual face on the part, and you would do that for all 3 configurations. But that's not it. You'd have to open the assembly afterwards and figure out how many items you need per DXF you created. And so you would end up doing a lot of work, and you could definitely not do that in 2 minutes. I almost guarantee you that. But we can just let this run, and we'll get back to the output afterwards. I actually set up in the rule that when the conversion has completed, it just opens up the conversion location, and we should be able to have a look in there. And as I said, there should be 25 bodies for this to actually work. So fingers crossed. Okay, so the folder location opened up, and we can see that we have 25 items. So that's a good base. And as you can see from the file, this was actually created right now. So please have a look at my time in the GoToWebinar and notify that, and notice that we actually did this live. So we have part number 25 throughout. We have different configurations. Small, default, large. We have the material AISI 304 throughout, and the 2.5 millimeter sheet thickness. And we could have used different material and thickness. Then I put in a check for it's like for converting multi-body parts, just to make sure that everything is working nice. And then the new groups, the 1 of 2. So if I open up the first one here and just put in a control measurement, we can see that this is 270 millimeters. So that was body number 1 of 2. So number 2 of 2 should be identical. And a control measurement, and it is 270. So that went as planned. So now I'm going to pick any one of these, one of the sides maybe, and just to validate that we actually have a different one. So let's see, this one. And as you can see, it's a different body at least. So appears that we have converted everything correct. Yeah. This is really good for nesting. So now you can import this entire folder. Back in SolidWorks, let me close this one and open up a new assembly. Yeah, so for the enhancements in sheet during print and convert as well, again this is a sheet metal assembly. So one of these bodies is actually just a single sheet. So I'm opening that. And it has configurations. So we have 250 by 550, 500 by 1250, and then default. And each of these actually has a drawing attached to it, so I'm going to open up one of the drawings for this as well and let you have a look. Yeah, go ahead. So we have the production sheets as the first 3, the default, the 250 by 550 and so on. So this one, and this one, and this one are the same file but different configs. And then I put in the DXF sheets that matches for the conversion, and these were just made by the CNC tool. And notice that they are called DXF sheet, or the flattened representation. So, and we don't have bent lines and we don't have a drawing header, so yeah. This you are completely used to, I guess. So just closing out the drawing. Don't save and close the part as well. So now back at the assembly. In the options we added some new wording, you could say. We completely rewrote it so it's more easy to understand. So for the PDF export, I only want to create the production sheet. So I'm going to edit this one, and in the drawing tab we have this new definition. So sheets which name contain, and I do not want to convert anything beginning with DXF. So not DXF. And then it has to be referenced by a model configuration. So now I'm not printing anything if it's DXF, but if it has a model reference apart from that, go ahead and print it. We can use Boolean expressions and, or, and not. And yeah, I think that's it. So for the DXF export, it's completely different. We want to print only the DXF. So in this case I put in asterisk DXF asterisk. So if my sheet name contains anything with DXF, then it's going to be printed. And I'm also making sure that if it's referenced by a model configuration, then it's being printed. So basically this should only print the DXF sheet. So cancel that. And we did the same for print as well, so that is really similar. So yeah. Oh yeah, so the select last active sheet if conditions are not met. If for some reason either of these two are failing, then we at least print one sheet. And this could be in cases where you have a bill of material on a sheet of its own without any model views. So in that case, if you save the file with the bill of material active on that sheet with nothing else on it, you would then get the print of the bill of material. So that's a precaution, you could say. Okay, cancel out and cancel. Then let's run the print and convert. I don't want to print it, I just want to convert it for now. But if I select the print, you can see that we get the default and the 250 by 550. So we are not getting the DXF sheets. And this is of course true also for my PDF export, where I get the default and the 250 by 550, and the DXF export where we only select the DXF sheets. And okay. And by the way, notice that we didn't handle the larger one because that was not referenced by the assembly. So now the output folder opened and we can have a look. So these are the DXF sheets created right now, and these are the PDF files of the production sheets. So if I open that one up, you can see that it's okay. We only have one drawing and it's the correct configuration. So I'm going to open up the corresponding DXF file and just zoom in, because this is how we did in the old days. We still do this. We put in the project, nothing was assigned to this, material are being put in as a note, 2.5 millimeter thickness, the quantity from the assembly, and then the cutting length in total for one of these items as well. So this was what we did previously, and yeah, you can still do that, but now you have even more options. And then finally I want to show you from the document folder in here that I have the getting started guide. So opening that up. This is the very comprehensive getting started guide, or you could even call it training material that we created. So just browse through this one and you can see different chapters, and they are hyperlinked. So if you select anything in this, you would then actually get into a description field. We are explaining everything that there is to know, and there are small guides to using it. So really just have a look at this and make sure you use it. And workflows. And then the help file. I do not have Chinese on this one, but in case you are not aware, the CustomTools help topics are found under help, and they actually contain a lot of tutorials. So expanding the custom tools for SolidWorks, you'll find the tutorials, and these are really good tutorials. You can select whatever you would like, use sequencing, and then it's like a wizard where you go to the next page and so on. And what we would like you to do is, if there is anything unclear or the content is not working for you, use the send feedback. Maybe you don't understand what we're trying to say, and then we can rewrite it and help you, and maybe we just made errors and then we can correct these. So use the send feedback to let this content be up to date always. Well, I think that is just about it actually. So let me go back here. I want to thank you all for joining this webinar. I want you all also to know that the next one is scheduled at July 2nd at the same time as today, and as I said, this will be about projects and how to use them. So I'll stop the recording now, and thank you all and have a nice day.